A very happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge. Oh, it's me, kind of, for now. I don't know. You got to watch. If you're listening to the podcast, you miss a lot of things on the front end. My name is Sia Nejad. This is the Early Edge, and we are brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. You got a peek at the cast today, but let's take a look at the recap screen. All right, well, we go 5-5. SportsLine picks go out 2 out of 3. Sniper, nice bounce back with the Braves money line, and Christopher Sanchez to record a win at a little bit above plus money, plus 105. 5-5 is, we've had a couple of 5-5 days, 3-3. We've been 3-0 on one day, I think 3-2 on the other day. So we're winning you money this week, but we're not hitting any grand slams. How about we hit a grand slam with all of you? Ryan is in here, Brian, KC3, Jeff Stenberg, Jeff Vandehay, D. Johnson. Are you all ready for BPE Friday?
Oh, let's go.
Let's go. We have Amex. We have buckets and whatever he's doing and listening to. We got shadow boxing from Danny Brasco. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a Friday. It's what you're waiting for. It's your Chip Me Up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Amex. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Early Edge fam. Dialed in, locked in, ready to shout out to MJ. Come fly with me. We're ready to keep you level, and we are only looking for dogs. Big weekend on tap. Let's go.
All right. That is your Chip Me Up. But I got to be honest, I was boosted even before Chip started speaking buckets. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if I hate the look or if I love the look, but I know I'm intrigued by it. How you doing, sir?
You know what's crazy, Sia? I don't give a damn if you hate the look or love the look. That's because fair. I'm being me. I'm being genuine buckets today. My boys FC Bayern Munich play this afternoon, and that is the only thing that matters. Plus the Chip Me Up. That matters too, of course.
Yeah, okay. Those are the two things that matter. A-Mags, go ahead.
Is this the match you're going to?
No, I went to the Auckland City match when they won 10-0. So I'll never have a good experience or as good of experience as that again. I peaked already, which is a bummer at 30.
By the way, a little teaser for next week. Buckets and I were discussing some wardrobe things for next Friday that you might be intrigued by. So we'll see what comes of it. But I think next Friday for BPE Friday, you guys are going to be intrigued by what's going on there at the beginning of the show. Danny Brasco, you're here, and you cap a lot of things, including cricket, but I imagine there's something UFC related going on this weekend.
We got UFC headed to Azerbaijan, Baku, a fight night that I did not expect, but here we are nonetheless, always going international. Speaking of which, I just got back from Hawaii a number of hours ago, and I'm still peeling the skin off my face. Amazing vacation. I feel refreshed. I feel rejuvenated. I feel ready to cash you guys some UFC plays.
Hey, Max, we're here grinding, plays and, trying to squeeze out some wins. And we got Brasco flexing his Hawaii trip. What gives? What's going on here?
Yeah, he is the more lucky twin of the two here, as Jeff Stenberg points out. He gets the vacations, and I will stay back and post some picks for you.
Well, we had to have both on the same show because there are rumors that you've never been in the same room, and technically you're not in the same room right now. Let's get to some picks. We were 5-5 yesterday, which is kind of ho hum. Buckets, kick us off with a couple soccer plays.
We've got some tricky ones this afternoon, Sia, but I'm going to do my best to find us not one, but two winners on the Club World Cup slate. When we're starting with the matchup between Benfica Lisbon taking on Auckland City. Auckland City has a lot of misconceptions about it that we need to address real quick. Auckland City just lost to Bayern Munich 10-0 last week, and everyone said, oh, how is this team so bad? How are we in this competition? They're not a professional team. Auckland City is a semi-professional team. Their goalie works a 9-to-5 operating a crane machine at a grocery store on his work time. And these are teams that are here for the experience. These are not some underdog stories, some underdogs heroes that are going to rise up to the occasion, have this big They're not going to win anything. If they score a goal, they'll be happy. They are enjoying the experience, and that is all that matters. That being said, the over-under for this match is currently set to 6.5 goals, which is terrifying. And Benfica not only need a win, but need a win where goal differential matters, which means it's in Benfica's favor to rack this up as much as they can, which is why I'm going for a bit of a weird one here. I'm going for there to be a goal in this match in the first 15 minutes, currently priced at -115. So kind of works out, keeps it easy there, because Bayern Munich did it, and they probably should have had 3 in that first 15. And Benfica, who need to win and need to get goals, will absolutely go for that immediate goal to kind of keep morale and boost them up here against a weak Auckland City side. Then for our second play, we are going to LAFC taking on Esperance Tunis, and we're taking LAFC over 1.5 team total at +110. LAFC were supposed to be the best MLS side in this competition. Even though they lost to Chelsea, they didn't really look that bad doing it. Meanwhile, Seattle Sounders looked good against Botafogo and Atletico Madrid, and Inter Miami just somehow beat Porto. So now all eyes are on LAFC to make something happen. This is the only matchup in this group they are expected to win, and now they need to do it in a big fashion. So I love 2 goals here, especially at plus odds.
All right. 2 goals at plus odds. You love to see it. I'm looking at the chat. Liddy says, Amex, how are we feeling about the pitching matchup in Philly today? Wheeler to record the win. That doesn't implicate one of your picks, does it?
It does. And I'm sorry if you could hear it. I am in like a construction zone right now. There's absolutely crazy noise in the background. But that does kind of give a little shout out to one of my picks here. I already put it up on the SportsLine website if you got it, but I do like Wheeler to record the win +125.
Well, I'll tell you what, Amax, why don't we, it's a good enough transition. Why don't we skip ahead to your picks? How about you give them out right now?
All right, Sia. Well, I appreciate it. If you guys already got this one off the website, it's Phillies -1.5. Don't love playing the home team on the run line usually, but just this matchup here, I think, is so incredible in the difference in talent level. You have Zach Wheeler, who, as we know, is one of those studs in MLB. And then you have Blake Tidwell. I don't exactly know how you say it, but regardless, it doesn't matter. He hasn't been good at AAA. The ERA around 5. Last year it was around 6. And then you look at the one MLB experience he had, it was terrible. He didn't even finish 4 innings. He gave up 9 hits, 6 earned runs. I think that this is more of a necessity for the Mets where they have to have a body throw some innings. They were going to start, I believe it was Hagenman is his last name, and he had to throw some last night, so they can't start him now. Everything's a little bit of a jumbled mess. They're also traveling. I get that the Phillies travel here too, but I just think with Wheeler on the mound, some of that Phillies bullpen actually rested thanks to Christopher Sanchez, 8 innings last night. I really think the 1.5 here is totally fine, especially at this price. I think it should be closer to -130 at least. So I will take Phillies -1.5 on the run line here tonight at home. And as we shouted out, I do like Wheeler +125 on the recorded win. I was going to put it in my article here today, but maybe I'll pivot off of that and just leave it here for you folks. But I do think that Wheeler can very easily get deeper into this game and have a nice lead stake to him early. So give us that one. And then secondly, we're going to a fireballer rookie who last time out we saw throw a no-hitter through 5 innings. He walked 4 as Jacob Mizorowski of the Brewers, one of the top prospects. And at 4.5 for the strikeout number here, I not only like the 5th strikeout, but I like the 6th, 7th, 8th. I'm really just going to go up the ladder for him today. Last time out in his first, his debut appearance, it was 14 pitches thrown over 100 miles an hour. I mean, the kid is a fireballer. And when you have to contest with that fastball along with a filthy slider and changeup, and it's a lot of pitches that you start to have to cover, and that velocity is not something easy to try to decipher very quickly when he throws the ball. So I just think that, again, this number at 4.5 for a guy with his talent is really just a bit too low. And I think we might start to see the 5.5, 6.5 as he goes on as well. A little bit of extra rest here for him because of the rain out. He was supposed to pitch, I believe it was 2 days ago now, might be 3, but regardless, he's been pushed back a little bit. So some extra rest. He rolled his ankle after catching a cleat in the last game. He was out in the 6th inning. He was out there to pitch and he rolled his ankle and had to be pulled out. So, 81 pitches last time, 4 walks, no hits allowed, no runs, 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. I think tonight he can very easily be at minimum a strikeout per inning and last 5, but I think he'll be much better.
I think it was Steve Folkerts that was also asking about the under in that game of 8.5 runs. Any thoughts there whatsoever?
At 8.5, yeah, I do lean to the under there, right? You're going to still cash with like a 5-3 game, a 6-2 game, right? So I do think that one's in play. the Twins offense has been kind of gangbusters led by Byron Buxton, but you score a bunch of runs one day, then you get into a new series, maybe that little bit of a lull. This is a really good talent as well on the mound for the Brewers. So I don't dislike that under at all.
I'm sorry, I was distracted when you were giving your answer. Buckets, I can't help myself. You've got the sleeveless thing on. I mean, I'm kind of impressed. Can we get like a flex out of you? What's going on here? Wow.
He's got like 3 different
little lat spread for everyone out there. I know you can't see the lats, but I promise it looked pretty good right now. Oh, there you go. Don't give me the one shot. Take that away. And no.
In the UFC, there's some guys that have such big trap muscles that they're known they can't get choked. Bucket's one of those guys. He's unchokeable. He's too jacked up.
He does look too jacked. I mean, listen, again, if you're listening to the podcast,
someone
thank you.
But
that
last.
you gotta watch. You gotta watch us live too. It's always good stuff. Hit the like button if you could. By the way, all right, let's transition. I know there's some baseball. There's some more baseball questions, Amags. We'll get to, and we got the SportsLine home run props to give out later in the show as well. But let's move along. We got a lot of people and a lot of picks. And Chip Patterson, one thing that's really cool is that we submit our picks before the show, and generally we're not looking at each other's picks, but sometimes just as the host, I'll like it'll come across the screen for me and I'll take a look. And as I was considering my matchups, I was basically going to give out 2 matchups today. And then I saw your pick come in and I said, I'm going to give out 1 matchup today. And I'm just going to fully endorse Chip's because Chip, I love this pick. I love this guy. If people watch the early wedge, you know that I'm on him. I have a very light outright card, by the way. I'm not one of those people that's putting out 10 picks and hoping to get 10% of the field. I'm probably going to add to this outright card from a live outright standpoint after today's round. But the main person on my outright card, the only guy that's not a huge long shot, is one Cam Young. Talk to me about him today, Chip.
Yeah, number one, just love the form. Just in general, like the form, like the fit here at the Travelers, up in Connecticut. But man, I tell you what, Sia, I don't know if you've been watching, but that wind is whipping right now. Cam Young, by his own admission, likes when tournaments are tougher. Like he is more comfortable. And we saw that with a pretty strong performance at the US Open. I mean, as everything was going sideways, there was maybe 45 seconds where I was like, can Cam Young win this thing? Of course, he ended up making a couple mistakes, missed a couple greens, and then slowly fell back into what was ultimately a very respectable position. But speaking of the U.S. Open, the other side of this Cam Young matchup, it brings me no joy. It really hurts my heart because I was rooting for the 44-year-old Adam Scott to be able to get it done. I was not rooting for him to go out there and shoot a 79 in the final round of the United States Open. I was rooting for Adam Scott to be able to, he's got this ball speed. He is finding this new form. But, man, he played poorly on Sunday, and he has carried some of that on into this week. In Thursday's first round, Adam Scott could not find the club face. One of the worst in this limited field in terms of being able to get that ball in the fairway, in terms of being able to get that ball onto the green. And for someone who we've talked about for nearly his entire career as having a golf swing that everyone is enviable of, I just think the disappointment of last week, we have a little bit of a hangover situation, and I'm taking that from the ball striking. So Cam Young played great yesterday. Adam Scott did not at all. And with Cam Young being someone I was excited about coming into this championship and now seeing some of the effects of that hangover, I think that I am going to take I feel even better after watching the morning coverage. I think it's going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be very fun. And given how Adam Scott is playing this week, I think that Cam Young's going to be able to get the best of him, even at this minus 118 price.
Yeah, and I have a theory about Adam Scott that I gave out before on the early wedge before the U.S. Open started, which I'll get to in a second. But I do want to point out that the minus 118 that's being given out here is at BetMGM. The other big outfits like DK and FanDuel, they have this at minus 125, which certainly isn't a terrible number, but I'm just pointing out that BetMGM happens to have the best number here for this matchup. Go ahead, Amax.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I was actually searching for it to try to bet that with you, Chip. I like that play. Are these the ones that are standardized like on Friday? I think you've talked about it before. When do they become standardized across all books when the matchups are the same?
Well, so in this case, they are standardized because it's a signature event. So people go out in pairs, but in a normal event, they become more standardized on Saturday and Sunday.
Gotcha.
But the good thing about these signature events that don't have a quote full field, that only have about 70, 71 players, is that you're going to get the same matchups because they're going out in twos as opposed to going out in threes. So you should be able to find this matchup at every major book. And also they have like places like I think DK and maybe BetMGM also have something called 18-hole matchups that are different than the two balls, the standard two balls that go out. So there's a little bit more variation as well. But again, you should be able to find this everywhere. Best number should be at BetMGM. My theory on Adam Scott, what I led to into the U.S. Open, and part of the reason he was a first-round leader for me at the U.S. Open and a DFS play was because I think Adam Scott takes majors way more seriously than anything else. Now, mind you, this is a signature event, so I would imagine he'd take this seriously as well. But I think from a focus standpoint, and this is a little ride down narrative street, but I think guys like Adam Scott, guys like Justin Rose, the guys that are older, more kind of distinguished, have pretty good track records. I think they're so much more dialed in for the majors, like they might be at the Open Championship in a few weeks, rather than really any other event. And it's part of the reason I love this fade even more, especially with an up-and-coming Cam Young. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the mental exhaustion. You were in the final group with a 2-hour weather delay and you didn't play well. You had to watch the winner drain a 64-footer. And then, now we still have to finish our round 2 with our combined 17 over between him and Sam Burns. So I don't know how much even mentally, how much is going to be in the tank for this. So look, there's no cut in this event, AMAG. So we're not even, going down narrative street trying to figure out if he's going to gas up the jet, right? If he's totally checked out, he is stuck for 4 rounds. So he's going to try to dig in and get something. I just don't like the way he's hitting the ball. And that when you're Adam Scott, that's supposed to be your superpower. So I'm going to stick with a good golfer, good form, good course fit. Let's keep it rolling with Cam Young.
All right, let's keep it rolling with some BetMGM promos, and then Brasco, we got to get to you for your fight night picks. I've got a golf play. We've got SportsLine plays. We got a lot going on here, including your questions in the chat. BetMGM players will receive an odds boost token to apply to any FIFA Club World Cup bet. Just make a bet in a FIFA Club World Cup game and activate the token. If your bet hits, you get extra winnings. And I got to remind everybody, don't forget to get Yankees tickets and join us for an official Early Edge SportsLine meetup at Yankee Stadium on July 9th. Pretty close. We're within 3 weeks of that. Come hang out with Amax, Danny Brasco, Larry Hartstein, and more. Plus, the first 75 people to buy tickets get free Early Edge merch. We move to, how about some SportsLine picks? And we've got Ben coming back. He smashed his play yesterday. Let's get to the SportsLine pick first. We got TJ McConnell. This is from Matt Severance at -105. TJ McConnell over 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Again, TJ McConnell over 17.5 PRA at -105. That one courtesy of Matt Severance. And then we move to the producer lean. This is interesting how he's phrasing this. For the producer lean is OKC first half team total over, but the number's not out. So, of course, it's not an official play. Ben, do you want to explain yourself here and maybe talk to us about a number that you might be looking for?
Yeah, so it stinks that the number's not out yet, which is unfortunate. I saw 154.5, but it was at -135, I believe, on FanDuel. So I want to see where the juice goes, but I love 54.5. If it's 55, I love it too. OKC played terrible offense, and the Pacers played really good defense. And I think back at home, I think their offense is going to play a lot better. The Pacers defense was very good, but OKC is so good that I think they're going to adjust and make the right adjustments. They average 58 points per game at home in the finals so far this season. They also have a 28 net rating at home in the first half of the finals, which is an unbelievable number. So all that put together, I think OKC is ripe and ready for a very good bounce back first half at home in Game 7. They kind of played like they could afford a Game 7 and Game 6, but now they're the team with the backs against the wall. I like them to score 56, 57, maybe even reach 60 like they usually do.
Probably get to the free throw line a little bit more too at home. We know how the refs fall victim to the home crowd. It's just a fact, really in any sport, but particularly in the NBA with home court advantage. And I actually thought the Pacers, while they would have won anyway, I thought they were getting away with some, like the refs just weren't calling certain things that I think they normally call. And again, when you go to OKC, that might turn around. You get some more free throws and you get the team total over in the first half, maybe the second half as well. All right, Ben, I'll tell you what, we got to get to more picks. If you don't mind, can you take us to a break?
After a fiery opening weekend in the Big Three, the Walking Bucket and ISO Joe Face-Off, and more. Sunday on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
All right, we're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Danny Brasco, we've kept you pretty quiet just to gear up, just to gas up the jet so you can deliver coming back from Hawaii. I don't know if you can do it on some UFC plays. You've got the floor, my friend.
Let's go, Sia. First, a couple things I want to address. I needed the time. I needed to transition back. I'm still moving on island time, man, real slow. I woke up at like 5 a.m. this morning. I thought it was the show time. So here I am. Jeff Stenberg in the chat, noted Yankee hater. To speak on behalf of AMAGs and myself, I got to say, we would love to see you in Yankee Stadium heckling everyone. Get your tickets, man. And just so you know, Jeff spends so much time thinking about the Yankees. Like every day he's got something. I haven't thought about the Red Sox since like 2004, David Ortiz and Jason Varitek. So, shout out to Jeff, just like spending all of his days considering Yankees. Just, I love that. My guy GAWD in the chat as well. He says he didn't see my breakdown. No podcast for me personally this weekend. Of course, I was away, but I got you with the breakdowns now. And I'll also be on the network show at around noon, breaking down the main card picks. Today, UFC Baku. On this show, I got prelim picks for you guys. And let's kick it off with a fighter that you guys have heard me talk about before. I'm going to add him in a 2-leg parlay. We're beginning with Hamdi the Hammer Abdel Wahab. And a lot of people might be down on this guy because he squeaked away with a split decision win in his last fight that maybe he did not deserve. But I still think this guy has a lot of potential. He's an Olympic Egyptian wrestler, and he just hasn't really showed out quite yet, but he's squeaking by. He finds ways to win, even if he doesn't deserve it necessarily. I think he shows his potential in this matchup against Mohammed Usman, the brother of Kamaru Usman's coming off a big win. People are going to be high on him. I'm just not all that high on his skill set. He doesn't really set up his attacks. They both have tremendous power, but Usman not really fighting behind a jab or low kicks or anything that sets up the big shot. So I think if Hamdi gets the wrestling going, he dominates this fight. He's minus 170. I like him laying him straight, but I'm going to pair him up with Melissa Mullins on the money line. That's going to give us a plus 123 parlay. She's fighting a girl that she actually already beat on the regional scene in Daria Zhelezhnakovia. Thank you. I'm sure Sia's grateful I didn't pick her, so he has to repeat her name. And the problem with Daria there, Sia, is that she's a fish out of water on the ground. They had a really interesting kind of firefight of a match on the regional scene where Daria was piecing Melissa up on the feet, but Melissa just made her look really bad on the ground. And at this level in the UFC, I feel like it's a lot easier to up your striking game than it is to up your ground game. And if Daria gets taken down, I think it's wraps. So Melissa knows where she holds the advantage. She's going to put her down on the mat and do work. You pair them together, you get plus 123. Let's move on to another little 2-legger. I'm trying to find creative ways to bet this card. There's some big favorites that I like, but I don't want to lay the juice. So let's head to the spread market. I think both of these fighters get dominant wins. So I'm going to play both of them on the minus 3.5 spread. Shop around for this line. What that implicates is that they have to win a dominant decision on the judges' scorecards to win by more than 3.5 combined rounds on their scores or finish the fight inside the distance. I'm going to do that with Oban Elliott minus 3.5 and Nazim Sedyakov minus 3.5. Oban Elliott, smooth kickboxer. I call the guy a smooth criminal because he's just so under control in the ring. He never looks like he's in a hurry or under duress. And I really like the way he's improving his game. He flows with the fight wherever it goes. He mixes in his kickboxing and his grappling really nicely. His opponent's making his UFC debut. And he looks like he's got potential, this guy Ko, but his 2 losses have both come by knockout. I think he's a wild swinger sometimes, and I can see Oban Elliott making him miss and making him pay. I like a counterpunch knockout there. Same goes for Nazim Sedyakov. This kid is on fire. Kickboxing is nasty. He got into a firefight with a fighter I really like, Vyacheslav Borshev, in Madison Square Garden. I was in attendance for that, and he just showed me a lot of great intangibles early in his career. The kid has no fear in his heart, and it's 4 limbs against 2 in that matchup. He's fighting a primary boxer. Sedyakov's got some nasty kicks, so 4 limbs versus 2, I think he gets it done. I like him by knockout, but I'll take him to minus 3.5. You pair those spreads, plus 105, and you guys know I love some plus money in the UFC. Let's see if we can get my dog of the week to cash. Give me Bogdan Grad, plus 235. This guy's a junkyard dog, man, and he will fight for your money, as I like to say. There you go, Ben. I think this guy's odds are too wide considering his durability, his tenacity, and his unorthodox striking. He'll throw the kitchen sink at you. His opponent is no slouch in Muhammad Naimov. He's got serious power, sticky grappler, but I think Bogdan Grad scrambles and is just spinning wheel kicks, his flying knees, and his ground and pound of his own can keep him live in this fight. So if it's an ugly one and a nasty affair where they're both bleeding, they're both trading damage, I want the plus 235 number. Give me Bogdan Grad. Let's cash some plus money tickets in the UFC Baku this weekend. See ya.
What an incredible take. All 3 takes. That was some really, really good stuff. As Danny, they think they're cooking you in the chat for your Red Sox take. I don't know that you got cooked. I think people are just saying that because it's fun to say. But yeah, I mean, listen, the Yankees are they're gonna catch heat no matter what. We got 2 Yankees hats on the show. It's a lot.
I went to my first game when I was 2 years old. I'm born in 1991. I saw it 96, 98, 99, 2000. I grew up in paradise. I'm completely spoiled. So I have this gold coat of armor around me. You can't hurt me. I've witnessed championships after I grew up in just glory. So say your words don't hurt me. I'm coated in gold, baby. Let's go, Mags.
Can I say, Mags, I'm going to go to you next to see if there's any baseball picks you needed to address from the chat. Then Buckets, I'm going to go to you there for soccer. But Smooth Criminal, you mentioned Smooth Criminal when you were giving out your takes. Show of hands on the show. Who knows who sang Smooth Criminal? Yes. Okay, this makes sense though. Like, I'm not even mad at Buckets and Mags for this.
I mean, I'm a little mad.
You could have asked me if it was a song or a movie, and I wouldn't have known.
Oh man! So first of all, it's one of the most famous dances ever, as well, by Michael Jackson, where he taught his background dancers how to do that lean forward move. Go watch the video. Go listen to the song "Electricity."
Yeah, also, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So the one of the great things about the Michael Jackson catalog and how he cared so much about the preservation of the music is that if you wanted to come and get the rights to a song, he would let anyone have it if it was good. Fast forward, Alien Ant Farm comes out and is like, yo, Mike, we just did the song. And Michael Jackson was like, yeah, that's good. And sure enough, Alien Ant Farm breaks through with a little hit with their cover of Smooth Criminal. I mean, you remember the music video? They're inside a wrestling ring at a house party. It is like, it is a total reimagination of the song in their style. I do not remember another Alien Ant Farm song, but like that was just
there wasn't one.
It's such a great moment of like Michael Jackson is not covered often because Michael Jackson didn't let a lot of his music to be covered for like a commercial purposes. But Alien Ant Farm of all people came and Mike was like, damn, that is a banger. Okay. Yes, you're good. You're good there.
I thought Buckets was going to say, yeah, I know who sang it. It was Alien Ant Farm, and I think Michael Jackson covered it. That's where I was hoping this would go. Speaking of like punk bands from that era, anybody in the chat, again, we're going to go around the horn here on actual sports takes and go to the recap screen, but anyone in the chat, like favorite punk band from that era? Like Sum 41 is a good one. Good Charlotte. Like there's some that I'm missing.
All right, so hold on. I think Blink does not count in that era, even though they were big in that era because they came out first. Like Dude Ranch and like all the early Blink stuff is probably from that first generation. But they had massive. I mean, that's when they had What's My Age Again? That's they had that huge album with the nurse on the cover, like that. They were a part of that sort of like moment for music, but I would say that they're from the previous era. I like your Sum 41 shout out. I liked Sum 41 in the moment.
Somebody said Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Steve, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, no. What are we doing with Mighty Mighty Boss? I just love that they got brought up in the show. All right.
Who loves Mighty Mighty Boss Tones? Like capital L loves Mighty Mighty Boss Tones is Jason LaConfora. And JLC was like at the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones shows in '94, before they got big on Impression That I Get and everything else. He's on the day one tracks.
Real quick, Brasco, I know you have something. It was Newfound Glory that I was thinking of, and then Simple Plan as well. Whoever wrote Jimmy Eats World, great band, but not punk at all. Brasco, go ahead.
Does this qualify in the era System of a Down? I'm a big headbanger, System of a Down kind of guy.
Are they punk though?
I just think you got to look at them as like one of the best sort of like rock sort of group, like rock metal leaning, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Metal
leaning. Yeah. And then one thing I cannot defend that Jeff is getting at me. Max, this hat is straight up Tin Lincecum status right now. I've been wearing it for a long time. It's
got to get you a new
Lucky Charm hat, but it is worse for the wear. So Jeff, if you want to send me a new hat, anything other than Red Sox, I might rock it.
Oh, that Lincecum reference was so good. Buckets, do you have any idea what we're talking about?
What the hell is going on, man? What is happening? The only one I know that might fit isn't even an English band, but Rammstein. Du Hast. That counts, right? That's the only group I would know of that would maybe be a part of this conversation.
Not punk, hold on, but more metal.
One more. So what about Bowling for Soup?
Oh, wow.
Ooh, good.
Yeah, I'm not super I've heard of them. I'm not super familiar with them.
I only say that because with the very limited budget that my very small college had, they were one of our spring concerts. And so I saw them live, man.
Were they good? 1 to 10.
Yeah, they weren't bad. I mean,
That sounds like a 5. Okay. Amags.
Yeah, this is a great combo.
It's a spring concert. You don't remember much of it, Sia.
Nathan Pike says Stacy's Mom is Amag's favorite song. That's a fun song. Do we have questions that you saw in MLB Amags that you needed to address?
Not really. I mean, if you have any questions, Discord or Twitter, we'll be out there today talking about some more stuff. So I think we're good for now.
Do we like Cubs money line? That was a question.
There you go. Hey, Ben, do you like Cubs money line?
Oh, yeah.
I always love the Cubs money line.
Well, I mean,
I did just throw a little. I saw someone mention it. I did throw a little bit down on this. I had it last year when it didn't hit, but we talked about it. Me and Sniper, Yankees versus Cubs World Series. I put a bet on it and said if it happened last year, me and Sniper would be paid to go. So we'll see this year. Maybe it happens again. Someone mentioned it in the chat though. So
Sammy Sosa is also supposed to be at the game, making his first appearance at Wrigley since 2004.
Wow.
So that seems like I think that seems like good luck for them.
I don't know. That's a volatile luck.
Yeah.
It could really go either way.
Really
high variance.
I think we got hot. I think we got hot air, wind blowing out. I mean,
2 o'clock game.
It's bucket full of chips. Do we want to tag that one? Buckets?
Do we want to do that, or do you want to wait for next week for this?
Okay, we'll wait for next week.
We'll wait for next week.
32 minutes. All right.
Yeah.
Now I feel like it's like you're going to tell me a secret and then you didn't tell me. Like, what is it?
That's called a tease. Come back next week to find
Next
out
what buckets full of chips is.
Next Friday is going to be a big day for a lot of different reasons. By the way, I haven't given out my pick. I'm going to be super, super short because it's the same pick. One of the 2 picks that I ran yesterday. It's the one of the 2 that actually won. I'm going Harry Hall minus 115 over Min Woo Lee for the same reasons as yesterday. I just think Harry Hall's in much better form than Min Woo Lee. I was proven right on that yesterday, and I'm just going to go right back to it because I think the juice is yesterday we got it at minus 110 and it really hasn't moved much. It was minus 115 in some places yesterday, so you might have paid that price anyway. Again, even in the windy conditions, I think Harry Hall will be just fine here. I'm going to take him. I think he's going to have a good tournament, and I think Min Woo Lee is going to continue to just kind of be below average like he has been for the last 6 or 7 tournaments. So give me Harry Hall minus 115 over Min Woo Lee. But I got to be honest, I like Chip's pick better than mine. It was going to be one of my picks. Those are the 2 picks that I'm actually going to bet. So Cam Young pick and this Harry Hall pick for me. All right, I think, do we have anything else before we get to the recap screen? I know we've gone kind of long here. Oh, you know what? I did forget something. The home run model picks. Let's do that. Thank you for reminding me, Ben. Ronald Acuna, some pretty good value here. The SportsLine model says plus 285, but the real odds are plus 390. Love that. Jazz Chisholm plus 355 versus plus 390. I assume that's somewhat endorsed by Yankees fans everywhere, including Amags and Danny Brasco. And then Jose Ramirez, really no value here, plus 390 versus plus 390, but nonetheless, it's on this chart. But the first 2 have some moderate value. Ronald Acuna is certainly the one that has the most value at over, plus 285 versus plus 390. So that would be the one probably to take. Amags, any thoughts here on any of these 3?
Love Jazz Chisholm. I'll be at the Yankee game tonight. Nice. Aaron Judge bobblehead day. So if Judge doesn't hit a homer on his bobblehead day, I'll be thoroughly disappointed. But I do think Chisholm, you have Tomoyuki Sagano, 8 home runs allowed against left-handed batters this year in just over 40 innings.
Wow. KC3 has Rafi Devers versus the Red Sox tonight. Ooh. Of course, Rafi Devers now a San Francisco Giant. That is plus 300. Those aren't terribly great odds, Amags, but it is kind of a fun bet to make.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Are they in Fenway or are they in San Francisco?
San Fran.
Okay, I would have liked it more in Fenway.
That's why they did the trade. They made the trade, and then they were skipping town for like 2 weeks on a road trip, so they didn't have to deal with any of the backlash in person.
Smart.
Very, very interesting. Somebody's saying Judge is due. Yeah, I think so, Steve. All right, let's get to the recap screen. We certainly kept you pretty long here. I'm going with Harry Hall this afternoon, minus 115 over Min Woo Lee. And then the other golf pick here is Cam Young, minus 118 over Adam Scott. That one courtesy of Chip Patterson. Then to baseball, we go Phillies run line. Phillies minus 1.5, minus 108. And then Jacob Mizorowski over 4.5 Ks at minus 145 buckets. Benfica versus Auckland City. Goal in the first 15 minutes. Interesting at minus 115. And then he goes to LAFC versus Esperance Tunis. LAFC over 1.5 team total plus 110. And then we got some parlay action and an outright from Danny Brasco. We're going moneyline parlay Hamdi Abou-Wahab money line plus Melissa Mullins money line at plus 123. Then a spread parlay Oban Elliott minus 3.5 plus Nazim Sadikov minus 3.5 at plus 105. I'm going to give myself 8 out of 10 there. And then we go Bogdan Grad money line at plus 235. All kinds of plus money as usual coming from Danny Brasco. TJ McConnell over 17.5 PRA. That one is from Matt Severance. It's minus 105. And then don't forget, producer Ben did have that lean on the first half team total on Oklahoma City. Just wait to see where that number is. And then maybe jump into the SportsLine Discord and consult with us. Again, if you're not a SportsLine member, go to sportsline.com/join. And if you type in the promo code WINNERS, you get 60% off the annual plan. That gives you free access to everything on SportsLine, but also, of course, free access to the SportsLine Discord, which covers every single sport. We've got it up on the screen right now to all the podcast listeners. Again, sportsline.com/join, promo code WINNERS, 60% off the annual plan. Joe Neuenfeld says, I got 9.5 out of 10 on the pronunciation. Danny Brasco, your thoughts?
It was pretty darn solid. Speaking of pronunciation, speaking of international sports, a lot of people asking, where's the cricket, Danny? Indian Premier League ended, but it's just like soccer. There's so many leagues. International play continues on. Major League Cricket USA is upon us. So I will have some new, it's the second year. The first inaugural year was kind of awkward. Like these Indian Premier League teams are straight up all-star squads, all of them. This one was kind of clunky. Some of the weird play. I watched some Little League stuff going on. This year, I think it's going to shape up a little bit. So I will be in the chat with Major League Cricket USA plays. So look out for some more cricket.
UFC, he covers, cricket. He covers NFL in a big way, which we're 77 days away from. Jake Long, days away from NFL season. Or if you're a Commanders or an old school Washington fan, Darryl Grant, days away from NFL season. All right. Well, that'll do it. Longest show ever. Sorry about that, everybody. We were having a good time. Hopefully you had a good time as well. We'll see you next Friday on BPE Friday. But, of course, we do this every single Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock. Got a lot of special shows, too. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. You turn your notifications on behalf of Buckets and his sleeveless shirt, on behalf of Chip Patterson, A-Max, Danny Brasco, and all the Yankees gear. And, of course, Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. And all of you, I'm looking at the punk references right now. I'm going to have to go back in the chat and read all of these. Really, really good stuff. Have a great Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend. Stay positive, and we'll see you next time on The Early Edge. We rest our case.